It has to be impeding his vision with the right eye. You never know it, though. Tremendous right. Another right hand. Hearns turns his back, takes another right. Hearns in deep trouble again. Hearns is down. Hearns is down in the third round and on his back, and he's not going to beat the count.
Emmanuel Stewart begged him. Not suggested. Not advised. Begged. The man who had coached Thomas Hearns since the age of 10, who had turned a shy kid from Detroit into one of the most feared punchers on the planet, who had built the game plan for the biggest fight of Hearns' career, sat across from his fighter in training camp and said, "Do not get into a brawl with Marvin Hagler." That was playing right into Marvin's hands, Stewart would say years later, still shaking his head. "I beg Tommy, do not brawl with this man." The New York Times boxing writer had written the same warning in print before fight night. Hearns may be most vulnerable if he goes for an early knockout. Even Hearns himself confirmed it, in his own words before the fight, that going to war early was not in his best interests. 3 people, all experts, all correct, all telling him the same thing. He walked through the ropes on April 15th, 1985, and in the first 10 seconds, ignored every single one of them. What followed was 8 minutes that boxing historians are still arguing about 40 years later.
Introducing, in the red corner, the challenger, the WBC Super Welterweight Champion, Thomas the Hitman Hearns. With a professional record of 60 wins, 2 defeats, 2 draws, and 50 KOs. Middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
What made Hearns unique, genuinely historically unique, was the combination of his physical tools. 6 feet 1 inch tall, a 78-inch reach, the longest, thinnest frame in the middleweight division, and on the end of those arms, a right hand that generated knockout power that didn't belong in his weight class.
Marvin Hagler has a very good right jab, very powerful.
Stiff right hand by Hagler. Hard left hand. Lee goes down. Face down on the canvas.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler was from Newark, New Jersey, raised in Brockton, Massachusetts, the same city that produced Rocky Marciano. He had been undisputed middleweight champion since 1980, 62 professional fights, 50 knockouts. He had been robbed of the title once on a draw decision, come back and never let it slip again. He was not just a fighter. He was a statement, a punishment delivered by an opponent with nowhere to run, and no plan left that worked. And when he arrived at Caesar's Palace on April 15th, 1985, he was wearing a hat.
Hagler said he didn't want it to go very long, and it's not going to go very long.
One word, all capitals, war. Not strategy, not game plan, not patience, war. While Stewart was drawing up jab angles and reach distances and defensive frameworks, Hagler was wearing the answer on his head. He wasn't going to wait for Thomas Hearns to settle into a rhythm. He was going to make Hearns make the decision, right now, from the opening bell, of what kind of fighter he actually was at the deepest level. A boxer who moves and scores and waits, or a warrior who stands and trades. Teddy Atlas described it better than anyone. Tommy Hearns understood what he was. He understood this guy is coming. I could pretend that I could say I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna box. I'm gonna stay on the outside, keep my range. There's no way I can do that all night with this freaking guy. He made up his mind. I have to hurt him. And war began.
And finally, it's Hagler against Hearns. Hagler, right off the bat. He bangs Marvin. Oh, Hearns may have hurt him with a right hand. Hearns hurt him with the right. Hearns hits him with an uppercut. Hagler, he's hurt. Hagler is stunned. Oh, is Hagler coming out like a bullet? A good left by Hagler, but Hearns didn't flinch. Marvin going for the body.
And it was Hagler who initiated it, not Thomas Hearns.
And a left by Hagler. Hearns comes back. Another right. That one stunned Hearns.
Surprise to many people.
Another right hand from Hearns. Hagler still pursuing, comes in with a right, missing with a left hook.
Turn to righty, he could block that right hand easier and he would land his own left hook. He was stunned a little early and he's normally a slow starter.
He's also bleeding. Hagler is cut.
He is taking shots to the head.
He blocks that right. Hearns tries to come in with the uppercut. Marvin with a good left hand. Bridge of the nose originally, but but blood all over the face of Hagler here in round one. But Hagler has him on the rope. Hagler working on him.
Hagler wants him, but Hearns counter-punching off those ropes fairly effectively.
Tremendous first round. Hagler to the ropes, working on him, but Hearns uppercutting again. Hagler bloody. Sensational first round as Hearns gets hurt. Hearns got stunned. Hagler was stunned early in the round. Great first round.
CompuBox recorded 106 combined punches in round one. 95 of them were power shots. In 3 minutes. The pace was so ferocious, so unlike anything boxing had seen, that the numbers barely seemed real. Hearns had landed his right hand, the one Stewart had planned to hold for the right moment. He had landed it early, and it had stunned Hagler. Briefly, genuinely, visibly. The immovable champion had needed to hold, but the cost of throwing it so early, and with such force, had been something Hearns discovered in his own corner between rounds 1 and 2. He looked at Stewart and said 3 words. He had broken his right hand, throwing it through Marvin Hagler's skull in round 1. The weapon Emmanuel Stewart had spent months saving for the perfect moment. The right hand that had knocked out Duran, that had destroyed 4 decades of opponents, was gone before the fight had reached its 4th minute, and Thomas Hearns went back out for round 2.
Round 2 now.
Oh!
The glove, left hand by Hagler. A wild first round uppercut. Trying to box. Moving. Slipping off the ropes.
They are yelling, keep boxing, Tommy, from his corner, and that looks like what he's going to try and do in this fight. I think this could be a key moment in this fight.
For the first time, Hagler switching. Go. Another right hand. Every punch that's thrown. People expect it.
For one simple reason. Good left hook by Hagler. He took the best Hearns could offer, and he did come in.
That right jab. Hagler coming in with a left.
Boy, Hearns looks awkward, and his legs look like they're not there.
A little rubbery here in round 2. Trying to get inside again. The cut opens up over Hagler's top. Half a minute to go in round 2.
Oh, what a left.
Hearns trading with him. Hagler comes back with a right or left, and another right. He has Hearns. Tommy trying to punch his way off the ropes. Hagler wants to keep him there. Goes to the body.
He's done it. Another low blow. Richard Steele may take points away soon, but will it matter?
In round 3, referee Richard Steele paused the fight. The cut on Hagler's forehead had become a waterfall of blood. The ringside doctor needed to examine it. The fight could be stopped on cuts. Hagler's title could be taken away not by a knockout, not by decision, but by a cut opened in the first round. Steele leaned in and asked him. Steele allowed the fight to continue, and in that moment, Hagler understood something. The cut examination had been a clock, a warning. He did not have the luxury of attrition anymore. He could not wait for Hearns to break over 12 rounds. He needed to end it now, before the blood made the decision for him. He found another gear. Teddy Atlas described what happened next. Then in the next round, Hagler was no longer just one of the flames. He had become the furnace, a place where fire grows.
Has been rough inside. He's thrown some low blows. He has thrown some elbows. But you know what? Now the right is getting there, but it's not hurting Hagler. We've got our answer, I think, to some extent.
Very early. Had him stunned, has him cut.
We thought might happen. Tommy Hearns was hurt early, so he is boxing.
Hagler with a wild left hand. It has to be impeding his vision with the right eye. You never know it, though. Another right hand. Hearns turns his back, takes another right. Hearns in deep trouble again. Hearns is down. Hearns is down in the 3rd round.
The official time, 1 minute and 52 seconds of the 3rd round. 8 minutes and 1 second of total combat. Thomas Hearns, the man with the reach advantage, the 78-inch arms, the right hand that had knocked out everyone put in front of him, was on the canvas. And Marvin Hagler, blood pouring from the gash above his eye, stood in the middle of Caesar's Palace as the undisputed middleweight champion of the world.
No, he can't continue. It's Hagler, full of blood. Blood, no
knockout in the 3rd. Instead, it is Marvin Hagler, and we certainly hope Tommy Hearns will be all right. He is still wobbly. What a shot.
Jim Lampley called it the most hellacious 8 minutes of combat in modern boxing history. Ring Magazine named it Fight of the Year and Round of the Year. Specifically the first 3 minutes, which have been debated and analyzed and rewound for 4 decades as the single greatest round ever fought. Both men were never quite the same after those 8 minutes. Hagler would fight only twice more, stopping John Mugabe, then losing his title to Sugar Ray Leonard in a fight he believed was stolen from him. He was so disgusted he moved to Italy and never fought professionally again. The 8 minutes against Hearns had taken something that no subsequent fight could fully replace. Hearns went on to win titles in 5 weight classes, a remarkable achievement that established him as one of the greatest multi-division champions in history. But whenever his name is mentioned, the first image is April 15th, 1985, the moment he walked to center ring and started a war.
And Leonard flurry against Hagler. Less than a minute to go in the fight. Now Hagler with a little showboat. Some shuffle back from Ray. But on his feet.
Here's the thing nobody talks about when they discuss what Thomas Hearns should have done differently. Stewart's plan was correct. Boxing from distance, using the reach, picking Hagler apart with the jab. That was the right game plan. That was the plan most likely to win the fight. But it would have produced a different fight. A better tactical result perhaps. A unanimous decision for Hearns maybe. A championship won on points. And nobody would remember it 40 years later. Because what Hearns actually did, what his warrior DNA demanded in the first seconds when Hagler came charging, was the tactically wrong decision that produced the greatest 8 minutes boxing has ever witnessed. He broke his right hand in round 1, threw 95 power shots, opened a cut that nearly stopped the fight, rocked the most durable champion of his era, and lost on a 3rd round stoppage.
He bangs Marvin. Oh, Hearns may have hurt him with a right hand. Hearns with the right. Hearns hits him with an uppercut. Hagler, he's hurt. Hagler is stunned. Oh, is Hagler coming out like a bullet? A good left by Hagler, but Hearns didn't flinch. Marvin going for the body.
Hearns said it himself after Hagler passed away in 2021. His awkwardness messed me up, but I can't take anything away from him. He fought his heart out, and we put on a great show for all time. For all time. Emmanuel Stewart's plan would have given Hearns a better chance of winning. His warrior instinct gave the world 8 minutes it has never been able to forget. The game plan said box. The man said war. And 40 years later, nobody is disappointed that he chose wrong.